They couldn't keep their mouth shut. Now the whole block knows who you really are, and that's fine. Let them talk. Let them whisper your name like it's some kind of curse, because that's what people do when they can't handle truth standing right in front of them. They mistake silence for weakness. They confuse mystery for guilt, and they think exposure is the end of your story. But what they never understand is that when the mask falls, when the secrets are dragged out under the light, that's when the real version of you begins. That's when the noise fades and your pulse starts to sound like thunder. You see, you were never meant to hide forever. The quiet, the calm, the shadows, they were your training ground. They were never your cage. And when they opened their mouths and spilled your name, when they turned whispers into wildfire, they unknowingly gave you something priceless. They gave you freedom, because the truth, no matter how heavy, no matter how raw, is still lighter than pretending. Now they all know who you are. Every street corner, every screen, every face that once smiled only when your back was turned. They all know, and that's not your downfall. That's your unveiling. You've been revealed, not as someone to be pitied, but as someone too real to be hidden. The exposure they thought would destroy you has only stripped away the illusions that once held you back. You've been purified by the flame of their gossip. They burned your image, but they couldn't touch your essence. Remember this. When people talk, they are showing you your power. Nobody wastes breath on the irrelevant. They speak your name because it shakes something in them. It reminds them of what they lost, what they feared, what they could never be. So don't run from the echo. Let it ring. Let them know that you survived the noise. You didn't crumble under it. You learned its rhythm. You turned it into music. There was a time you tried to keep everything private. You thought silence would protect you. You built walls of control around your story, careful with every word, every move. But control is an illusion, isn't it? You can't stop the world from seeing you. And when they did, when they tore open your quiet world and pointed fingers, something inside you snapped, but not in despair, in awakening. You realized that the version of you that needed hiding no longer exists. You've evolved past the need to be understood by everyone. You've stepped into a place where truth is your weapon, not your wound. They couldn't keep their mouth shut because your energy made them restless. Your growth made them uneasy. Every time you rose higher, it reminded them of how low they stayed. So they tried to bring you down with words. They tried to remind the world of your past, your mistakes, your scars. But what they don't see is that you've already made peace with all of it. You've already forgiven yourself. The storm they thought would drown you is one you learn to breathe in. Every time your name spreads, remember this. Your exposure is not destruction, it's transformation. The world now knows your story, and in that, you've taken control of it. You're no longer a shadow in someone else's version. You are your own headline. You are your own breaking news. Let them share your name. Let them make noise. Because while they're speaking, you're working. While they're watching, you're building. And while they're trying to define you, you're becoming something far greater than they could ever comprehend. It hurts, doesn't it? The betrayal, the laughter behind screens, the twisting of facts, the words that weren't just said, they were designed to wound. You felt it. Every syllable was a blade, but what you didn't realize in that moment was that each cut carved depth into your character. Pain sharpened your purpose. The heartbreak gave you clarity. The exposure gave you permission to stop hiding. You are no longer burdened by masks. You have nothing left to lose. And that's the most dangerous version of a person this world will ever see. You don't have to explain yourself anymore. You don't have to justify the path that built you. They can believe what they want. You don't need to chase their approval because the truth is simple. Legends are never born quietly. Every powerful soul has faced a moment when the world turned its gaze, not in admiration, but in judgment. Every name that became immortal was first dragged through disbelief. That's the tax of authenticity, the cost of being real in a world addicted to pretending. Now your story is out there. They leaked it, they spread it, they shared it, and yet you're still standing. That's strength. That's what they didn't calculate. They thought exposure would end you. They didn't realize it would introduce you. They gave you the stage you didn't even ask for. And now, every eye that watches will see the truth unfold in time. Not the rumors, not the lies, but the resilience that bleeds through your actions. You've been forced into the light, and that's fine. The light reveals everything. Flaws, scars, but also brilliance. Let them see all of it. Let them realize that authenticity is not perfection. It's power. It's standing there, fully seen, and still unshaken. You are no longer part of the crowd trying to blend in. You are the spark that makes others remember their own truth. And that's why they fear you. That's why they talk. Every rumor, every leaked word, every distorted truth, it's fuel. It's proof that your existence has weight. The world doesn't move for the unnoticed. The world stirs for the unforgettable. You are unforgettable. So stop wishing to go back into the shadows. The silence you missed was only peaceful because you hadn't yet realized your raw. Now you've found it. Use it. Let the world know who you are. Let them know your name, your past, your truth. Because they'll see the same facts, but they'll never interpret them the way you do. You're not defined by the stories told about you. You're defined by the way you keep moving despite them. You're defined by the way you rise every morning and dare to exist louder than yesterday. So walk with your head up. You've earned your exposure. You've earned your story. They couldn't keep their mouth shut, and in doing so, they built your legend. They created the fire, but you are the one who mastered it. You turned chaos into clarity. You turned their betrayal into your broadcast. And now the world is watching, not to see you fall, but to see what you'll do next. And here's the truth. They'll never say out loud. They envy you. They envy your resilience. They envy the fact that after everything, you didn't disappear. You didn't break. You became undeniable. You became viral not because of luck, but because your truth demanded to be seen. You became unforgettable because you refused to fade. You are the storm that started as a whisper. They leaked your identity, but they didn't realize that revealing you only made you stronger. You are no longer someone hiding behind names, behind stories, behind fears. You are raw, unfiltered, unstoppable. You've become a mirror that forces the world to face what it avoids: honesty, power, and growth. So, let the block talk. Let the world speculate. You've already won the only battle that matters, the one within. The moment you accepted your truth, their words lost their power. The moment you chose to keep walking despite the noise, you became infinite. Your silence used to protect you. Now your voice will define you, and one day they'll tell a different story. They'll say, "We tried to expose them," but what they'll mean is, "We accidentally made them famous." Because that's what happens when truth meets fire. It spreads, it burns through fear and turns into light. So congratulations, they leaked your identity, but in doing so, they made you viral. You are the storm they summoned. You are the truth they tried to bury. You are the legend that rose from the noise. And now, every time they speak your name, They remind the world not of your weakness, but of your rise. So go ahead, stand tall, don't hide, don't explain. Just smile and say it softly, like a promise. They couldn't keep their mouth shut, and that's exactly why they'll never forget who you are. They thought exposure would silence you, but all it did was make your heart beat louder. Every eye that turned toward you became a witness to your evolution. Every rumor they spread became a drumbeat in the background of your rise. And that's what they never understand. Pressure doesn't destroy real ones. It reveals them. You are not defined by what they said, but by how you moved after they said it. You didn't vanish. You adapted. You learned that when the spotlight hits unexpectedly, you don't run. You stand in it and let your truth adjust the brightness. Let them talk. Let them keep rehearsing their version of your story. They need something to fill the silence of their own unrealized dreams. Because when people see someone breaking free, when they see courage they don't have, they start searching for cracks. They start digging, desperate to find something that makes you less extraordinary, less real. But what they'll find instead are scars that shine, evidence that you've lived, fought, and survived. They'll see that your imperfections are not flaws, they are fingerprints of endurance. And now, you carry something heavier than reputation. You carry awareness. Everyone's looking. Every move matters. But instead of shrinking, you're expanding. Instead of apologizing for who you are, you're learning to breathe deeper, walk slower, and exist louder. This is your era of unapologetic truth. They might have written the first chapter with lies, but you are writing the rest with purpose. When they called your name with spite, they didn't realize they were summoning your destiny. That's what exposure does. It tests the soul. Some crumble under it, some disappear, but a rare few transform it into something unbreakable. You are one of the few. You took the very thing that was meant to humiliate you and turned it into momentum. You're not running from your story anymore. You're owning it, shaping it, weaponizing it. Because the truth is this: they didn't expose you. You were always meant to be seen. They just triggered the moment. You were a force waiting for the right ignition, and they were foolish enough to strike the match. Now you burn brighter than they ever imagined, and no matter how much they whisper, no matter how many stories they twist, they cannot dim what's already become light. They don't realize the power of being underestimated. When they thought they had destroyed you, you were silently rebuilding. When they were laughing, you were learning. Every rumor became a lesson. Every betrayal became a blueprint. And now you move differently, calm, deliberate, unstoppable. Because you know what they still don't. The most dangerous person in the world is the one who has nothing left to prove. You don't need to clear your name. You don't need to argue. Time does that for you. Time exposes the liars and rewards the patient. Let them talk today. Tomorrow, they'll run out of things to say. Tomorrow, your results will speak the language their words never could. Keep building quietly. Keep rising steadily. Keep walking toward that vision that only you can see. The noise fades when success begins to echo. And when you wake up, remember, this is not the end of your story. It's the rebirth. You've been broken open, but not destroyed. The world now sees you without filters, without pretense, without disguise. You've been stripped down to truth, and that's terrifying for some, because truth doesn't bow, doesn't beg, doesn't blend in. It stands tall, it endures, and that's exactly what you've become. So keep walking through the whispers, keep breathing through the tension, because one day, the same people who said too much will have nothing left to say except one sentence: we were wrong about them. They'll see what they couldn't before, that your downfall was never real. It was only the preparation for your next chapter. You are the proof that exposure doesn't kill strength, it reveals it. You are the reminder that even when the whole world watches, authenticity never trembles. It commands attention without asking for it. You are not the same person they tried to destroy. You've evolved. You've shed the version of yourself that sought validation, the version that feared judgment. That old you is gone. What stands here now is something raw, sharpened by pain, sculpted by betrayal, and fueled by silence. You are not revenge. You are resurrection. And that's the part they never saw coming. They expected anger, but you gave them growth. They expected tears, but you gave them power. They expected silence, but now you speak with purpose. That's the beauty of being broken in public. The world witnesses your rebuilding. They can't deny the strength when they saw the collapse. You've turned your wounds into your witness. You didn't go viral by accident. You went viral because truth travels faster than lies when it walks with courage. You went viral because your story connected with every soul who ever felt betrayed, every heart that was ever misunderstood. Your name spread not because of scandal, but because of survival. Because in a world addicted to perfection, you had the courage to be real. And that's what makes you unforgettable. The world doesn't remember those who blend in. It remembers the ones who break the pattern. It remembers the ones who face fire and walk through it without asking for sympathy. You are one of those. The noise around you isn't chaos anymore. It's applause in disguise. It's energy moving toward you, building something unstoppable. So, let them talk. Let them analyze, criticize, and magnify every part of your story. Because while they're stuck in conversation, you're already writing your next chapter. They think you're just reacting, but you're actually evolving. They think they've defined you, but you've already outgrown their words. You've become something language can't limit. You don't owe anyone your silence anymore. You don't owe them your apology. The moment they exposed you, they released you from the need to please. You can finally exist without pretending. You can finally live without performance. And that's what true freedom feels like. Raw, imperfect, real. Every great story begins with a fall. Every legacy starts with doubt. You've already faced the worst of it. The eyes, the rumors, the noise. And you're still here. That means you've already won half the battle. Now, it's about building. Now it's about proving not to them, but to yourself, that you are always destined to stand out. So take a deep breath. Step forward. The world is already watching. Give them something worth watching. Show them what it means to rise without bitterness. Show them what it means to forgive without forgetting. Show them what it means to turn every whisper into fuel. You are not a victim of exposure. You are the result of transformation. You are not defined by the stories told about you. You are defined by the power you carry after they're told. And someday soon, when they say your name, it won't be followed by gossip. It'll be followed by respect. Because truth always wins in the end. It just takes time for people to catch up. So wear your story like armor. Don't cover your past, carry it. Don't hide your scars, highlight them. Because every mark on you is a chapter of survival. Every wound has healed into wisdom. Every tear you shed has become ink for your legacy. And now, when you look in the mirror, you'll see it. The calm after the chaos. The strength after the storm. The version of you that no exposure can harm, no rumor can shake, no lie can erase. Congratulations. They leaked your identity, but in doing so, They introduced the world to your truth. They wanted to reveal your weakness. Instead, they revealed your power. They wanted to embarrass you. Instead, they made you eternal. They wanted to end your story. Instead, they began your legend. Because now, the whole block knows. Now, the whole city knows. Now, the whole world knows who you really are. Now the world knows your name. The same name they tried to drag through the dust is the one echoing through every conversation. The same story they twisted is the one inspiring others to rise. The same truth they mocked has become a symbol of endurance. Funny how that works, isn't it? The same mouths that cursed you are now the ones speaking your legend. The same crowd that doubted you is now quoting your strength. Because time always rearranges the narrative. Time has a way of showing who was real and who was just loud. And you stayed silent long enough. You let the noise run its course. You let their stories grow roots in the soil of misunderstanding. But now, it's your turn. Not to argue, not to defend, but to walk in your truth so powerfully that every false word collapses under the weight of your reality. Your success will become your statement. Your peace will become your proof. They wanted to define you, but you've redefined what it means to come back. You've rewritten the concept of resilience. You didn't just survive the exposure, you thrived in it. You made every shadow they threw on your name a part of your spotlight. And now, when people see you, they don't see a scandal. They see someone who rose through noise and turned it into clarity. You've become something different now. The world may still remember the stories, but the energy around your name has changed. It carries weight. It carries mystery. It carries power. Because authenticity never dies. It multiplies. When you live in your truth long enough, even your enemies start to respect it. They may not like you, but they can't deny you. They may never admit it, but deep down, they know. They created something unstoppable. That's what happens when you refuse to fold. The moment they tried to bury you, they accidentally planted you, and you grew roots so deep that not even the storm could pull you out. You didn't grow in the sunlight of validation. You grew in the darkness of doubt. You became something forged by silence, tempered by pain, and fueled by persistence. And now you stand tall, not because the world lifted you up, but because you learned to rise on your own. This isn't revenge. This isn't payback. This is evolution. You are the calm after chaos, the peace that came after pain. You are the lesson they'll never forget. That no rumor, no betrayal, no exposure can break someone who has already made peace with their truth. Because when you accept yourself fully, the world's opinions become background noise. They fade. They dissolve. And all that remains is your rhythm, your fire, your purpose. There will always be those who talk. That's inevitable. But now, you understand something deeper. They only speak loudly because they're afraid of the quiet where truth lives. You've learned not to fight them, but to outlast them. You've learned that revenge isn't silence or shouting back. It's presence. It's staying. It's growing so undeniable that even those who once laughed must look twice. And maybe, just maybe, the ones who once spread your name with cruelty will one day speak it with respect. They'll remember the moment they thought they had power over you, and they'll realize they were just part of your awakening. They were just chapters in a book that ends with your triumph, because the truth always finds its way home. It always returns stronger, louder, purer, and right now, it lives in you. Every word they said, every lie they told, every whisper that traveled, it all carried you here, to this moment, to this version of yourself that doesn't fear being seen anymore. So look around, listen, feel the weight of your story in the air. You've become the very thing they said you couldn't be. Calm in chaos, clear in confusion, unstoppable in uncertainty. You've turned exposure into expression. You've taken every scar and made it part of your art. This is your rebirth, not silent, not hidden, but loud in a way that only truth can be loud. The kind of loud that doesn't shout, but resonates. The kind of loud that doesn't demand attention, but commands it. You don't need to announce your worth anymore. You don't need to prove who you are. The world already knows. And that's the twist. They couldn't keep their mouth shut, and now they can't stop saying your name. They set out to ruin you, but they ended up reminding the world of your existence. They tried to paint you as a tragedy, but you turned it into a masterpiece. Now, every time your name is mentioned, it carries a pulse. The pulse of someone who faced public fire and still walked through it. With grace, you've become a story of survival, written in bold ink, proof that no amount of exposure can erase a person built from purpose. They leaked your identity, but they also leaked your strength. They revealed your flaws, but they also revealed your humanity. They showed your past, but they couldn't stop your future. And maybe that's the real victory. Not that you silenced them, but that you no longer need to. You've outgrown the need for validation, the hunger for defense, the fear of judgment. You've reached a place where truth speaks for itself. So walk with quiet confidence. Let your steps echo the story they thought they controlled. Let your presence remind them that exposure is temporary, but authenticity is eternal. You've turned their noise into your narrative. You've turned their betrayal into your broadcast. And someday soon, they'll see it. Your name written not in scandal, but in success. Not in gossip, but in growth. Not in rumor, but in respect. They'll realize they were never the authors of your downfall. They were just the editors of your rise. You've learned the hardest lesson, that sometimes being exposed is the only way to discover who you truly are. Because truth can't live behind walls forever. It demands to be seen. It demands to be heard. And when it finally is, it changes everything. Now the whole block knows. Now the whole world knows. They know your name. They know your story. They know your truth. And you finally know your power. Congratulations. They leaked your identity. They couldn't keep their mouth shut. And now the whole block knows who you really are. But that's not your downfall. That's your beginning. Because you didn't just go viral. You became eternal.